Today I'm with Roman, and Roman is doing a series of lectures that we're videoing here on this platform on Sacred Vortex Geometry, which is what we've called it. And Sacred Vortex Geometry is a mixture of Marco Rodin's Vortex mathematics and is combining it with sacred geometry and Nassim Haramein's work. This is a Double Dutch radio special, which obviously isn't radio because it is video. And we've set up a placeholder website at the moment, which is www.sacredvortexgeometry.com. And if you would like to get in touch with Roman, you could reach him via email at info@sacredvortexgeometry.com. So without further ado, I'll turn you over to Roman, who's going to do a little bit of introduction. And probably during the course of these sessions, a few people will be joining us. So I'll turn you over to Roman.
Thank you. How are you, Peter, today?
I'm very good, thanks. I'm very good. I'm very tired. I'm doing too much work. I thought I was retired, but yeah, it's no stopping a good thing.
Yeah. So what do you want me to talk to first?
Okay, well, I suppose we're going to start with a little bit of an introduction of the Vortex maths and the principles behind it, which we touched upon in the radio interview, but it's always much more understandable when you've got video as well.
All right, so do you want me to start with the zero theory?
No, we'll start with the zero theory because that's really the basic framework. I mean, with me, the very first thing that you said when we had a discussion before was zero is the absence of matter, and all of a sudden numbers related to the world, related to existence for me, and that forms the basic framework, I think. So maybe we can start with zero as the absence of matter and how that alters maths.
Right, so yes, as I said during the presentation on the Double Dutch radio show, basically the reason I believe today the mathematics and all the science who are connected to the mathematics are based on a decimal system, which is not really existing in reality when we observe the reality closely. And my question was, what's happening when you remove the zero from this mathematic equation? So, first of all, what is the zero in reality? So, if I'm asking the question to a lot of people, most of them will say the zero is the void, the vacuum, the chaos. It's the absence of matter, basically. So where is the absence of matter? I don't know if a lot of people knows about it, but actually the absence of matter, so the vacuum, is actually the distance between every component of reality, which is actually between the planets. Of course, you have some void between the planets, but you have also void in between the matter itself. Into a molecule, for example, a molecule is composed of different atoms, and between each atoms you have actually more space that we actually think it is. When you come inside those atoms have space also, and inside of these atoms you have some quark, and the quark have also some space. So actually space, vacuum, void is actually everywhere in reality. So
it's a constant.
It's a constant, exactly. So if it's everywhere in reality, it's a constant, and we all know mathematically that when you have a constant, this constant normally disappear, because if you want to quantify something, you have to quantify something out of what is everywhere. So if the space is everywhere, what's the point to keep it in our mathematical system? Especially when you understand that this vacuum, this void, is actually determined by the absence of matter. And this is when it starts to be a bit tricky. Like, why do we keep something which is actually everywhere, especially when its own definition is based on non-matter? So this is basically when I start the to think about it and start to see actually what's going on when you remove the zero from the decimal system, and see if there was another way to actually quantify the reality without using the zero.
Yeah. So if we're quantifying matter, then we need to eliminate the constants, which is no matter.
Yes, correct.
So in a practical application, you would say 1 times 0 does not equal 0. It's a 1. There's a 1 in there in the equation. You've got matter multiplied by vacuum, 0, absence of matter. So you still have matter. So 1 times 0 would equal 1.
Yeah, so logically, matter plus the absence of matter should normally equal to matter. And this is the case in our mathematics. 1 plus 0 equal 1. Nothing complicated. A billion plus 0 is still equal to a billion, because the 0 have no impact on the 1, because the 0 is the absence of 1 or a billion. Okay, but what is a multiplication? The base of a multiplication is when you addition a certain amount of time something. So for example, if I have 1 matter plus 1 matter plus 1 matter, 1 unit of matter plus 1 unit of matter plus 1 unit of matter, I have 3 times this unit of matter, 3 times. The problem is when you use the 0 as a value, is that when you multiply this non-value by something which is existing, this is where it starts to be a bit nonsense.
Yeah.
Because when you have 1 times 0, for example, it means that we try to addition vacuum time this reality, this unit of reality.
Yes.
If you have 1 atom and you want to addition it, so 1 atom plus 1 atom plus 1 atom, but you do it vacuum time, you do it emptiness time, you immediately understand that something completely wrong. That you can't multiply by 0. You can't. It just doesn't make sense, because the 0 doesn't belong to the realm of reality. So, but in the modern mathematics, we say no, that's fine. You can multiply by 0, or actually you can decide that something can equal 0, which is even more making no sense. Actually, matter can't be equal to non-matter.
Yep.
It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, that's where mathematics never made sense to me. Mathematics never made sense, because how can that be? Exactly right.
And I remember exactly when I was a kid, like the teacher was quite embarrassed to explain us what was the 0, because he knew like there was something wrong, and a lot of teachers knows about it, but they just repeat what they've been taught. And it's when you start to explain it to kids that it starts to be a bit complicated, because kids are not stupid. When you say them something, they are really logical, actually. Some of them are absorbing without questioning, but a lot of the kids are actually questioning. And when you say 1 element of matter, addition vacuum time equal vacuum, you're like, well, doesn't mean anything. Because actually when you addition a certain amount of time, like a vacuum amount of time something, at least it should stay something at the end. It should stay at least this amount of matter.
Yeah.
So, this discussion is actually a nonsense, because this non-matter addition to this matter can't work. It just can't work. And unfortunately for us today, this is how our mathematical system is based, and how the whole reality that we know is also based.
Yep, exactly right. So the whole reality, everything that we do is related to mathematics. You know, if we're building a house, it's related to mathematics, or we're designing electronics, or whatever we do, all our science is based on mathematics. So then the question's going to arise immediately. Well, if we do not have 10, what do we have then? What if we don't have a decimal system?
About this decimal system, there's something also very important, which is another nonsense, is this division by 0. Mathematically, we always have been taught that divided by 0 is impossible. But we also have been taught that multiplication is actually the inverse of a division. So also, why can we multiply by 0, and why can't we divide by 0 if the multiplication is the inverse of the division?
Correct.
Doesn't make sense. Doesn't make any sense at all. That's why this system is completely wrong, and we need to understand it now. We need to unlearn how the system is based and need to relearn how we should observe reality.
Yeah.
So yeah, what's happening when we remove the 0? This is when the things start to be interesting. So I generate an Excel spreadsheet, so I can show you this Excel spreadsheet. So it would be easier for us to see how all that is working. Can you see it now?
Yep, it's right there, full screen.
Okay, great. All right, so this Excel spreadsheet is here to help us to visualize how those numbers are working. So on the column A, as you can see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 17. Okay, until 36. So we can go to the infinite, but it's just an example.
Yep, that's good for the illustration. Yep.
Okay. So as you can see here, you have on column B 1, column D 2, column F 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 8, and 9 here.
Yeah.
Okay, so those are the classical table of multiplication.
Yes.
How does it work? 1 times 1 equal 1. 2 times 1 equal 2. 3 times 1 equals 3. Then you have 1 times 2 equal 2. 1 times 3 equal 3. 2 times 2 equal 4. Okay, so as you can see here, it's the classic multiplication of 1. Here, the classic multiplication of 2. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, as this has been taught to us at school. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, 24, 27, 30, 33, 36. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. All right, and the column that you have next to it, which is in color here, so the C, the column E, the column G, the column I, K, M, O, and Q and S. Those columns are actually the reduction of the column next to it. So what means a reduction? This means that when you arrive to the number 9, you actually, instead of going to 10, as it is the case here, we actually go back to 1. Why? Because after 9, we actually understand that there's no 10, but there's actually 1 plus 0.
Yes.
Okay, so 1 plus 0 is actually equal to 1. 1 plus 1 is actually equal to 2. 1 plus 2 is actually equal to 3. 1 and 3 equal 4. 1 and 4 equal 5. 1 and 5 equal 6, and so on.
So instead of a linear progression, we now have a harmonic resonance happening.
Yeah, exactly, because this one is not exactly the same one that this one is actually the first resonance of 1.
Yes, correct. So an expansion of the fractal, or a higher octave in music, for instance.
Exactly. This is how we can differential the 1, which have his own identity, and the 10, which also have his own identity, but still connected to the 1.
Yes.
Okay, still connected to the 1. Like the 11 have his own identity, but still connected to 2. So the 11 is actually the first resonance of 2.
Yes.
The 12 is actually the first resonance of 3.
1 and 2, yeah.
First resonance of 4, first resonance of 5, and so on.
So 1 and 5 equals 6, 1 and 6 equals 7. So you're just adding the numbers and reducing them. Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to do that for all the classic multiplication table that we have been taught at school. So now we're going to see what's going on. So on the multiplication table of 1, we actually see that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 are actually giving 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 10 is actually giving 1. 11 is giving 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So it's actually a loop that start to spin and come back every 9 cycle.
Yeah.
Okay, but what's going on now with the table of multiplication by 2? So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 26, 28, 30, 32, 34. This give actually 2, 4, 6, 8, normal. 1, so 10 is actually 1. 12 give actually 3. 1 plus 2, 3.
Yep.
14 is actually 4 plus 1, 5. 16 is 6 plus 1, 7. And 18 is actually 1 and 8, 9.
9.
So we have 2, 4, 6, 8, 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. And then what's happening? So 20 give 2, 2 plus 0. 22 yep. Give 4, 24 give 6, 26 give 8, 6 plus 2, 8. 28 give 8 plus 2, 10, which is 1 plus 0, 1. 30 is actually 3, 32 is actually 5, 34 is actually 7. So we have again 2, 4, 6, 8, 1, 3, 5, 7, 9.
Yeah, so it's a recurring sequence.
It's a recurrent sequence, exactly. 2, 4, 6, 8, 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. Okay, so on this sequence, we see a sequence happening again every 9 numbers. Every yep. 9 numbers, the sequence come back.
Yep, so we get a harmonic every time. So a higher turn of the spiral or a fractal decompression. Yeah, so we're looking at harmonics and we're looking at sequence.
Exactly. So now let's see what's going on with the table of multiplication by 3. So 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, 24, 27, 30, 33, 36, 39 actually give 3, 6, 9, 2 and 1, 3, 5 and 1, 6, 18 is 1 and 8, 9, 2 plus 1, 3, 2 and 5, 2 and 4, 6, 2 and 7, 9. So we have 3, 6, 9, 3, 6, 9, 3, 6, 9, 3, 6, 9, 3, 6, 9, 3, 6, 9. And it's actually happening all along until the infinite. 3, 6, 9, 3, 6, 9, 3, 6, 9. So the relation is still similar to the table of multiplication by 1 and 2. But instead of having a cycle every 9 numbers, you have a cycle every 3 numbers.
Yep.
Okay. So this one is a little bit different, as you can see. Now let's have a look to the 4. So 4, 8, 3, 7, 2, 6, 1, 5, 9. 4, 8, 3, 7, 2, 6, 1, 5, 9. 4, 8, 3, 7, 2, 6, 1, 5, 9, and so on. Okay, now 5, 5, 1, 6, 2, 7, 3, 8, 4, 9. This is how it starts to be a bit weird, because when you do backwards the table of multiplication by 5, 4, 8, 3, 7, 2, 6, 1, 5, you actually have the 4, 8, 3, 7, 2, 6, 1, 5. Yes. You have exactly the inverse of the multiplication by 4. So based on this other language, it seems that the multiplication by 4 is actually equal to the inverse of multiplication by 5.
That's quite interesting. So we don't only have a vertical relationship, we have a horizontal relationship as well.
Yeah, also, but yeah, it's actually an axe of symmetry. You have this vertical axe of symmetry.
Axis,
that
yeah.
Basically, axis of symmetry that basically shows that you have a kind of mirror effect between those two numbers here.
Yep.
And if we follow up, so if we continue, so 6, 3, 9, 6, 3, 9, 6, 3, 9. Okay, 6, 12, 18, 24, 30, yep. 36, 42, 48, 54. So 3, 6, 9, 3, 6, 9, 3, 6, 9 backward, 3, 6, 9, 3, 6, 9, 3, 6, 9. So the 6 and the 3 seems to have a combined relationship.
Yep.
Okay. 7, so 7, 14, 21, 28, 35, 42, 49, 56, 63, 70, 77, so on.
Yep.
7, 5, 3, 1, 8, 6, 4, 2, 9. 7, 5, 3, 1, 8, 6, 4, 2, 9.
Yep.
So multiplication by 2 is equal to inverse of multiplication by 7. And the last one, the 8. So 8, 16, 24, 32, 40, 48, 56, 64, 72. 8, 6 and 1, 7, 4 and 2, 6. 3 and 2, 5, 4 and 0, 4, 4 and 8, 12, which is actually 2 plus 1, 3, 5 and 6, 11, which is 1 and 1, 2, and 6 and 4, 10, which is 1 plus 0, 1. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Yep.
So as we can see, this is a perfect symmetry that can happen if we basically remove the 0, which, as we spoke about a little bit before, is actually a nonsense. The 0 doesn't have anything to do with the element of the reality, and when you remove it, this is what's happening. So as you can see, there's a vertical axis of symmetry, and how can we see that? Because when you take any numbers of this line, so for example the 1 which is here plus the 8 which is there, in the middle of it you have 9. 1 and 8 equal 9. 2 plus 7 equal 9. 6 and 3 equal 9. 4 and 5 equal 9.
Yep.
Okay, if you take this line, 5 and 4, 9, 8 and 1, 9, 6 and 3, 9, 7 and 2, 9. If you take this one, 5 and 2, 9, 4 and 5, 9, 3 and 6, 9, 8 and 1, 9. So all those numbers together, and I'm not speaking about the table of multiplication by 9, of course, the 9 is everywhere, 9, 9, 9, 9, 9, 9, 9, because this table of multiplication is actually equal to nothing. It's actually the balance of the rest of the multiplication table.
Yep.
Okay, so there's a vertical axis of symmetry between the 1 and the 8, the 7 and the 2, the 3 and the 6, and the 4 and the 5. But there's also a horizontal axis of symmetry, because if you take two numbers around this axis here, 4 and 5, 8 and 1, 3 and 6, 7 and 2, you have 9 everywhere.
Yeah.
If you take 6 and 3, 9. If you take 3 and 6, 9. If you take 1 and 8, 9. If you take 4 and 5, 9. 4 and 5, 9. 6 and 3, 9. 7 and 2, 9. 9 is actually everywhere, horizontally and vertically.
Yep.
Okay? So, I don't know, what do you think about the perfect symmetry that we can see on this pattern, which is actually replicating every 9 numbers?
Yeah.
You have exactly the same sequence that happen everywhere. Like if you take 112, 2 and 2 and 2, 4, 116, 6 and 2, 8, 123. So all those numbers here are actually working together. 6 and 3, 9, 6 and 3, 9, 7 and 2, 2 and 7, 3 and 6, 3 and 6.
Yeah, it's balanced. There's order.
It's order. There's order everywhere. Okay, so what's happening if we look at the division table? So this is when we divide the number one by the other. So it's exactly the same sequence, except that instead of multiplying numbers together, we divide them one by the other. So 1 divided by 1, 1, 2 divided by 1, 2, 3 divided by 1, 3, 4 divided by 1, 4, and so on. 1 divided by 2, 0.5, 2 divided by 2, 1, 3 divided by 2, 1.5, 4 divided by 2, 2, okay. 1 divided by 3, 0.33333, 2 divided by 3, 0.66666, and so on. And here, as you can see, we have the same reaction with the 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9.
Yeah.
Okay, so as we can see here, 1 divided by 1 gives 1. So we have the same sequence, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It's exactly the same. Regardless if you multiply or if you divide by 1, you always have the same sequence.
Yep.
Then you have divided by 2. Divided by 2, so as the decimal system is an illusion, the comma disappears, so 0 plus 5 is also equal to 5. Then you have 1, then you have 5 plus 1, 6, then you have 2, 2 plus 5, 7, then you have 3, 3 plus 5, 8, 4, 4 and 5, 9.
Correct.
So 5, 1, 6, 2, 7, 3, 8, 4, 9. 5, 1, 6, 2, 7, 3, 8, 4, 9. Okay, so the sequence is happening. And if we compare this multiplication by divided by 2 sequence with the multiplication table, as you can see, it's exactly the same sequence as multiplying by 5.
Yep, the same patterns.
Exactly the same pattern. Divided by 2 is actually equal to multiplying by 5. All right. If you look at 4, the table of multiplication by 4, so 1 divided by 4, 0.25, 2 divided by 4, 0.5, 3 divided by 4, 0.75, and 4 divided by 4 equal 1. So we find 5 plus 2, 7, 5, 7 and 5, 12, which is 3, and then you have 1. 7, 5, 3, 1, 8, 6, 4, 2. 7, 5, 3, 1, 8, 6, 4, 2. So divided by 4 is actually equal exactly to multiply by 7, which is also equal to the inverse of multiplying by 2, and which also equal to the inverse of divided by 5. 0.2, 0.4, 0.6, 0.8, 1, 1.2, 1.4, 1.6, 1.8. Okay, so that's starts to be a little bit more than just coincidence. If all those numbers have an exact and perfect order one to the other, and when you look at 7, so 7 is a little bit different because it's actually a sequence of numbers. So 0, 1, 0, 4, 2, 8, 5, 7, 1, 4, 3. It's not really 3, it's actually 2. Divided by 7 give actually a sequence of number which is actually interesting. Divided by 7, so 1 divided by 7 is actually equal to 0.1428557. 142857. 142857. It's a sequence that come back after and after.
Yep.
And when you do 2 divided by 7, so you just put 2, and then you have 857. 142857. 142857. If you divide 3 by 7, same, so you have 0.42857. 142857. 142857. So you have this kind of sequence, which is very, very interesting because the 0 never happen again. You never see the 0 coming again when you do division by 7, which is actually very interesting because when you look, for example, here, 22 divided by 7, okay, 22 divided by 7 is actually equal to 3.142857. 142857. And you know where these numbers, we can find it to? You can find it if you divide the height of the pyramids of Giza by the length of the pyramids of Giza. You have exactly 480 meter high, 440 meter high, so it's not meter, it's cubic actually. 440 cubic high divided by 280 cubic of length. And if you reduce 440 by 280, you actually find 22 sevenths. And this is where Pythagoras find the famous pi, the number pi, 3.14.
Yep.
The 3.14 was actually taken by the heights of the pyramids of Giza divided by the length of the pyramids of Giza.
Wow. And
440 divided by 280.
Probably some of the other ancient buildings and like the South American pyramids and the Bosnian pyramid and Angkor Wat, they're probably all using the same constant.
Yeah. And actually what is interesting is that if you take a calculator today, the pi that we're using in a calculator is absolutely not this number. It's a completely other sequence which doesn't show any continuum, any continuous sequence. Where here, as you can see, 142857, 142857, 142857, 22 divided by 7. All right, and then 1 divided by 8, 0.125, 2 divided by 8, 0.25, 25. 3 divided by 8 is 0.375. So 8765431,
1.
which is exactly the same
The
as
recurring
the
sequence again, yeah.
It's exactly the same. All right. I'm not speaking right now about the 3, 6, and 9 because actually I believe that Marco Rodin made a mistake on this division table because his division table is very far away from mine. I think I discovered something interesting, but I don't want to speak about it right now. It's going to be another topic, certainly.
Okay.
Okay. So now what I wanted to show you is this sequence. So another sequence which is very, very important is the sequence based on 1, 2, 4, 8, 7, 5. Okay, 1, 2, 4, and 7, 5. 1, 2, 4, 8, 16, 32, 64, 128, 256, 512, 1024, 2048. This sequence is actually quite known. I don't know. Can you see this page now? Okay, I'm gonna share this one. So this is actually the exact proportion of what's going on with the life of a cell. So a cell starts with one cell, as you can see here. Then you have a duplication, so you generate 2 identical cells. Then you have 4, so 1, 2, 4. Then you have 8 numbers. So as you can see, it's a very particular shape that we can associate with this shape, which is called the seed of life.
Yep.
And then you have so 1, 2, 4, 8, 16. So 16, 32, 64, 120 duplication table of life.
Yep.
Okay, so if we go back on the 1, 2, 4, 8, 16, 32, 64, 128, 256, 512, 1024, 2048. So this is actually how life is actually growing. Like any form of life, it could be a plant, it could be an animal, it could be a human. All of that is working on a duplication table, which is based on 1, 2, 4, 8, 6 and 1 equals 7, 3 and 2 equals 5, 6 and 4, 10, which is 1, 128, 8 and 2, 10 and 1, 11, 1 and 1, 2, 256, so 5 and 6, 11 and 2, 13, 3 and 1, 4, 5 and 1, 6 and 2, 8, so 1, 2, 4, 8, 7, 5, 1, 2, 4, 8, 7, 5, 1, 2, 4, and 7, 5. And this is going to the infinite also.
Yes. Okay,
and something also very interesting is that if you apply the same technique to 3, 6, 12, 24, so 3 and 3, 6, 6 and 6, 12, 12 and 12, 24, 24 and 24, 48, 48 and 48, 96, 96 and 96, 192, 384, 768, and so on. You always have 3, 6, 3, 6, 3, 6, 3, 6, 3, 6, 3, 6, 3, 6 to the infinite.
Yep.
So the number 3 and the number 6 have some particular reaction when you're doubling them. And when you double the numbers, so 1 and 1, 2, 2 and 2, 4, 4 and 4, 8, 8 and 8, 16, 16 and 16, 32, you have this sequence 1, 2, 4, 8, 7, 5.
Yep.
All right. So now here, as you can see, I show you another coincidence, which is, I believe, not a coincidence. If you take this number and you addition 3, so 1 plus 3 equals 4. 4 and 3 equals 7. 7 and 3 equal 10, which is actually 1.
1.
10 and 3 equal 13, which is 3 plus 1, 4. 13 and 3 equal 16, which is actually 6 plus 1, 7. 16 and 3 equal 19, which is 9 plus 1, 10, which is 1. 22, 25, 28, 31, 34, 37, 40, 43, 46. We actually have 147, 147, 147, 147, 147, 147. As if there was a kind of relationship between those 3 numbers, 1, 4, and 7. And if we do the same with 2, So 2 and 3, 5, 5 and 3, 8, 8 and 3, 11, 11 and 3, 14, 14 and 3, 17, 17 and 3, 20, 20 and 3, 23, 26, 29, 32, 35, 38. We have exactly the same coincidence, which is based on 2, 5, 8, 2, 5, 8, 2, 5, 8, 2, 5, 8, 2, 5, 8, 2, 5, 8, 2, 5, 8.
Yep.
All right, and if we use the 3, so 3 plus 3 is 6, 6 and 3, 9, 3, 6, 9, 3, 6, 9, which is the table of multiplication by 3.
Yes.
Classic table of multiplication by 3. 3, 6, 9, 3, 6, 9, 3, 6, 9. All right, so when I said that, it seems that there's a kind of language, a kind of hidden code, hidden into our numbers, actually. Because how else could we explain that the 1, 4, and 7, 1, 4, 7, 1, 4, 7 are connected together when you addition 3? And actually, when you addition 6, 1 plus 6 equals 7, 7 and 6 equal 13, 13 and 6 equal 19, 19 and 6 equal 25. So you actually have 1, 7, 4, 1, 7, 4, 1, 7, 4. You actually have exactly the same sequence, but said differently. Instead of being 1, 4, 7, it's actually 1, 7, 4, 1, 7, 4. And you can have the same reaction here. So 2 and 6, 8. 8 and 6, 14. 14 and 6, 20. 20 and 6, 26. 26 and 6, 32. So actually you have 2, 8, 5. 2, 8, 5. 2, 8, 5. 2, 8, 5.
Yep. So there's that mirror effect. There's that mirror effect again that we had in the other table as well.
Exactly, exactly. When you addition 3, you have 1, 4, 7. If we start the number by 1, and if you addition 6, you have 1, 7, 4, 1, 7, 4. And it's the same if you have the 2, 5, 8, 2, 5, 8, 2, 5, 8, or 2, 8, 5, 2, 8, 5. And if we have addition 6 here, so we have 3, 9. Okay, 3 and 6, 9. Then 6, then 3. So you have 3, 9, 6, 3, 9, 6, 3, 9, 6 instead of 3, 6, 9, 3, 6, 9, 3, 6, 9.
Yep, that inverse relationship again, yeah.
So when I saw all of that, I thought there was a little bit too much coincidence just to be coincidence. Something also very interesting is that the doubling circus, which is the base of life, if you do the situation in the opposite direction, instead of having 1, 2, 4, 8, 16, 32, 64, if you divide it by the number before, so 1 divided by 2, 0.5, 0.5 divided by 2, 0.25, 0.25 divided by 2, 0.125. So you actually have 157, 842, 157, 842, 157, 842, which is the inverse of 124875.
Yep.
124875. Okay, 124875, 124875, 124875, as if the 1 was the connection between the upper level, which is going in one direction, and the lower level, which is going in opposite direction.
Yep.
Like a vortex. Vortex going up in one direction, and a vortex going down in opposite direction. 5, 7, 8, 4, 2, 1. 1, 2, 4, 8, 7, 5. 1, 2, 4, 8, 7, 5.
So here we have a spinning system of harmonic relationships.
Yeah. It starts to be quite obvious that the decimal system that we're using is cutting us from this relationship, this sequence relationship that happens when you know how to put the numbers in the right direction.
Yeah.
And it's quite obvious just with this simple Excel spreadsheet that there's much more information that we want to see in those numbers. Today we just use numbers as value. We don't see numbers as a symbol, as an alphabet.
Yep. Yep. Okay. Not as a language, not as a descriptor of reality. We're only describing ownership. We're not describing our relationship to our world with it, or our relationship to the universe for that matter.
Exactly. So now what I wanted to show you is my interpretation of those numbers. So can you see this line, this
Yes, I
horizontal
can
line?
see it, yep.
So this horizontal line for me represents the materialistic world, like the reality as we see. Not the vertical, but the horizontal, because it's the dimension of the reality that we experiment, by opposition to the spirituality, which is more vertical. Okay, so if we have this line, which is showing the horizon, it's showing the earth, it's showing the sea, the line that defines the two-dimensional system that we live in. If you basically put a vertical cross in it, so if you put a number 1, so the number 1 can also be seen as the connection between the sky and the under earth, what you have under the earth. So which is symbolically the connection between what is above and what is under. Okay, so as you can see, this cross, which is a very, very religious symbol, is actually showing the connection between the materialistic world and the spiritualist world.
Yep.
Okay, but what's happening if you have a diagonal coming from the sky and joining the earth? We actually see a number 4. All right? And if now we have exactly the parallel of this symbol coming from the earth to the under earth, we actually have the number 7.
Yep, and that's again in that relationship in the tables, yeah.
Exactly. So the 4 and normally the 4 works with the 5, and the 2 works with the 7. But 4 and 7 seems to be 2 opposite representations of the same reality, if we know how to see them. Okay, 7, 4.
Yep.
Right. So this symbol is actually also quite well known because it's the symbol of Zeus, okay, thunder, which maybe mean more than what we think is meaning. So maybe it's just showing the connection between the upper world to the underworld, okay, coming through the ground, coming through the earth. Okay, and can be joined like this and show a kind of 8. Okay, kind of 8 or kind of symbol
feedback loop.
A feedback loop, yeah, exactly. So it's coming like this, coming like that, and then coming up. Okay, like a kind of movement. All right, so now let's see a number 9. What's happening with the number 9 if we have the same horizontal? So immediately we see the number 2 happening.
Yep.
Number 9, number 2. All right, so as if the energy was coming from the sky, but instead of going straight, it was going roundly, like kind of curved. Okay, and if we have the symmetric of the 9, if we use the symmetric of the 9 compared to the horizon, we actually have the number 5. Here we go. It's a little bit weird because normally there's a line here, but it's a number 5.
Yeah.
Okay. Number 9, number 2, symmetrical, and number 5.
Yes.
Yes. And if we connect the numbers, so this one to the symmetrical, we can actually see the number 3. Number 3 as a loop, kind of loop coming from up and down, and up and down. Okay, so this is my interpretation of those numbers, and now I'm going to give you my interpretation of life, how life is actually happening. So in the beginning, there was consciousness based on 9. So the 9 is actually the number of balance of the universe. We're going to see why. Then what happened is what the religion called today Trinity. The Trinity, and the first Trinity was maybe 147 or maybe another one, because we're going to start with 147. And then happened the second polarity, the second trinity, which is actually the opposite of the first one. Okay, 285. So why do we have 147? Remember, because 1 and 3 equal 4, 4 and 3 equal 7, 7 and 3 equal 10. Okay, 147, 147.
Yep.
And then you have 258, 258, 258. And when we combine both of them together, we obtain a symbol that normally a lot of people know, which is the David star, the Solomon symbol, which is based on six stars shape. And if we put all the numbers together, we find a 1, 2, 4, 8, 7, 5. 1, 2, 4, 8, 7, 5, which is reminding us the symbol that we have here, 1, 2, 4, 8, 7, 5. How a cell is actually duplicating 1, 2, 4, 8, 7, 5. Okay, so 1 and 1, 2, 2 and 2, 4, 4 and 4, 8, and 7, 7 and 7, 32, so 16, sorry, 16 and 16, 32, which is 5. 32 and 32, 64, which is 6 and 4, 1, 10. 64 and 64, 128, 256, 512, 1024, 2048, 4096, and so on. 1, 2, 4, 8, 7, 5. 1, 2, 4, 8, 7, 5. And I believe that this symbol is actually much more important than what we can actually understand of it. Because as you can see now, you have this 1 here, and this 8 here, and 1 plus 8 is actually equal to 9.
Yep, so along the axis, it's adding up to 9.
Exactly, 2 and 7 is also actually equal to 9. 5 and 4 is also equal to 9. And as we saw on the previous table here, you have a perfect symmetry horizontally and vertically. Okay, horizontally and vertically, there's a perfect symmetry in 3 dimensions. Regardless when you're looking at, you have a perfect symmetry. But you're going to tell me, where are the 3, 6, and 9? Where are the 3, 6, 9? Because we don't see them on this symbol. And actually, they are hidden, because as we can see on this multiplication table, the logic is a little bit different from the other logic. It actually works every 3 sequence, 3, 6, 9, 3, 6, 9, 3, 6, 9. And actually, what we have here is 1 plus 2, we have the 3 here.
Yep.
And then 2 and 4, we have the 6 here. And 4 and 8 is actually 12, which is 2 plus 1, 3, which is what we have now.
Yep.
1 and 2, 3, 2 and 4, 6, 4 and 8, 3, 8 and 7, 15, which is 6, 7 and 5, 12, which is 2 plus 1, 3, 5 and 1, 6, 6, 6, 6, 3, 3, and 3. 2 triangle would generate another star, like another six-shaped star.
6-pointed star, yep.
Yeah, but not exactly in the same position, because now we can see a kind of movement, like a kind of transition between the first shape and the second shape.
Yep. Yep, so we have spin now, we have movement.
We have movement, exactly. And why can we say that we have movement? Because first of all, everything is still perfectly symmetrical. 6 and 3 equal 9, 3 and 6 equal 9, 3 and 6 equal 9, 3 and 3 and 6 is completely balanced, so 2, 3 and 1, 6, and 2, 6 and 1, 3.
Yep.
Okay, 3 and 3, 6, and 6, 12, which is 3 in that side. 6 and 6, 12, plus 3, 15, which is 5 plus 1, 6. So you have 3 here and 6 here.
Yep.
Okay, so 6 and 3, 9, 6, 3, 9, 6, 3, 9, 6 and 3, 9, 6, 3, 9, 6, 3, 9. Everything is perfectly balanced. Okay, before going further, I wanted to speak a little bit about why the 1, the 4, and the 7, 2, 5, and 8 works together. Why that? Because actually 1, 4, and 7, as we saw a little bit earlier, are straight line. Remember when we've been to the very beginning? So at the very beginning, we have the straight line number 4 and then 7. All of that is based just on straight line. Straight line, straight line, straight line. The 1, the 4, and the 7 have just on straight line.
Yes. So it's a male aspect.
It's more male energy, exactly. It's more something which is quite obsessional, quite directional, quite logical. Something who's going from A to B without turning around. It's just going from one to another side. We call that male energy not because it's just for male. It's actually because every human being is actually have exactly the same amount of male and female energy. But it's more question of left brain and right brain. Because a lot of male are very emotional and a lot of female are very, very logical. So there's no, actually, it's not really a question of gender. It's more question of choice of life. We can choose to live our life following this logical aspect or having this curve aspect, like the 2, the 5, which is also curve, like you have a straight line but you have curves. And you have the 6 and the 3. So all of those numbers are actually based on curve. Okay, so it's not by chance that the 1 and the 8, so straight line and curve, are actually opposite one to the other, because they represent 2 types of energy, the directional, logical energy, and the sensual, spiritual energy. And you have the same here. 7 is 2 straight line, and then you have the 2, which is female energy. And then you have the 5, which is spiritual female energy, and the 4, which is the straight line. So it's not by chance that you have this perfect balance in nature.
Yeah.
That we can find here. Oh, is that okay? No, what happened? Okay, now, okay, I understand. Yeah, got it. Okay, so yeah, another very important point is that the 3 here and the 6, so 3 and 6 have a different relationship. As you can see here now, you have 1, 4, and 7, which are 3 numbers, and you have 3, 3, and 3, and 6, 6, and 6. There's no succession of 3, 6, and 9, 3, 6, 9. There's actually 2 triangle of 3 and 2 triangle of 9, of 6.
Yeah.
And when you continue the addition, so 1 plus 3, 4, 3 and 2, 5. This is what we can see here now. So 1 and 3, 4, 3 and 2, 5, 2 and 6, 8, 6 and 4, 10, which is 1, 4 and 3, 7, 3 and 8, 11, which is 2. So we see that there's another sequence that happened here. So 4, 5, 8, 1, 7, 2.
Correct.
4,
Yep.
5, 8, 1, 8, 2, 7. So we see that 7 and 2 equal 9, 5 and 4 equal 9, 4 and 5 equal 9, 8 and 1 equal 9, 8 and 1 equal 9, 7 and 2 equal 9. So the 9 is still the perfect balance. So you still have this perfect geometry and this perfect balance everywhere in this creation.
Yeah.
And also something very important to see is that without the 3, which is, as we saw a little bit before, different from the 1, 2, 4, 8, 7, 5, without the 3, we couldn't have the 4, or we couldn't have this 5. Okay, and why is it important? Because if we connect 1, 4, and 7, and 2, 5, 8, this is what we can see now. 1, 4, 7. If we take 2, 5, 8. Okay? 2, 5, 8. 2, 5, 8. 1, 1, 7, 4. So 1, 4, 7. So the 1, 4, 7 still spin in clockwise, like 1, 4, 7, 1, 4, 7, 1, 4, 7. 147. Where's this one? Yeah, 147, 147, and here we have 258 going anti-clockwise. Okay, 147 is going clockwise, 258 is going anti-clockwise. So
yeah,
as I said, yeah.
You can see a vortex there. You can see the vortex there, and you can also see the double torus beginning to happen with the opposite spin. So
yeah, we can start to see a kind of vortex happening. It starts to happen, but it's not completely happening until you addition again 1 plus 4, 4 and 3, 3 and 5, 5 and 2, 2 and 8. And this is what we see now. So 1 and 4, 5, 4 and 3, 7, 3 and 5, 8, 5 and 2, 7, 2 and 1, 8, 8 and 6, 5, 6 and 1, 7, and so on. And if we connect again the 1, 4, 7 and the 2, 5, 8, now we have the perfect vortex shape. Okay, so if we connect the 1, 4, 7, 1, 4, 7, and the 2, 2, 5, 8, so 2, 5, 8 going anti-clockwise, and 1, 4, 7 going clockwise, we also see this vortex happening.
yeah, it would be great to have a multi-dimensional, three-dimensional representation of it. So if there's any artists out there who know how to render stuff, who want to work with us, it'd be nice to connect. So info@sacredvortexgeometry.com. Just a little plug.
All right, so I think that's it for the first video.
Yep, that's a lot of information. There's a lot of information to take in there. And oddly enough, with mathematics normally I'm an absolute moron, but with this it's just recognizable. I recognize it because I see it everywhere. I see it inside myself. It's what I'm made of. And the numbers relating so beautifully to the biology and the whole energetic system in the body. It's really harmonizing everything, and it's starting to give us a new descriptor for our reality. And I think that's what's missing between the spiritual inside and the physical outside is the right language, the right descriptor. And this is something that we need to get into dialogue with a lot of people. And a lot of people are having this dialogue and starting to tie things together. And for that reason, we will be setting up the website, which is sacredvortexgeometry.com. And I am getting some offers of help of people to help me get a forum up on there and to do some website design for us. So that will be a platform where like-minded people can start getting together on this subject matter. And, you know, there's something natural in the recognition of it, which is not there when you're taught maths in school. And it's got to be funny drumming those old getting rid of those old multiplication tables that have been drummed into us, and starting to get these new sequences in our heads as well, and starting to see the world as that. So it's very interesting stuff, and certainly there's a lot of information here. So plenty of stuff for our first video release, and I believe we got a great deal more to look forward to.
Thank you very much. I think we can stop now and see the next topic after.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Roman.